Hello, my name is Dr. Harold Duncan. I'm a licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist in Dallas, Texas. Two websites that I would like to direct you to are PrestonPlaceCounseling.com and HaroldDuncan.com. On those sites is a variety of articles, film clips, and newsletters of which you may avail yourself and make whatever use of you find necessary and helpful to you, your family, or friends. There are no permissions necessary in order for you to utilize this material, so I hope that something on those sites is helpful to you. This is the fifth film clip in a series called Emotional Intelligence. This clip has to do with self-motivation. How can we deal with ourselves when we are down, when we are discouraged? How can we pick ourselves up? How can we move forward when we seem to be so stuck? In this clip, we will talk about impulse control. We will talk about delayed gratification. We will talk about negative self-talk and positive self-talk. And we'll also talk about learned helplessness and how to avoid several of the areas in which our lives can become stuck and we can become our own worst enemies. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you enjoy this next installation in the series. Primary components of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-control, self-motivation. Has to do with enthusiasm and zeal and persistence, working through a situation that just may seem insurmountable or insurmountably difficult. It also has to do with impulse control and delayed gratification, self-motivation. That's what students do. The students are all about delayed gratification. If I do the work that I need to do now, there will be a payoff down the road in terms of a letter grade or a degree at the end of that particular road. Another aspect of self-motivation has to do with negative self-talk. Again, I saw this guy this morning, ask his permission. He said, yeah, tell him whatever you want to tell him about me. This is a guy who is a warehouse manager. He's probably 40 years old. He's, by his own admission, he's good at his job. But when he makes a mistake, his default messages to himself are, "You idiot. How stupid. You are such a loser." Well, I heard him tell me that 2 or 3 times, and so I finally asked him about this a couple of sessions ago, and I said, who else do you talk to like that in your life? Who else? And he thought, he said, nobody. And I said, okay, but it's okay for you to berate yourself with words and terms that you would never apply to anybody else. He's working on that. I'll kind of share with you in just a minute. Positive attitudes, negativity, and the counterpart, of course, positive attitudes. How do we feel about ourselves, and what do we think about ourselves? What terms do we assign to ourselves? Now, a lot of times, as you well know, there are negative patterns that have been learned early in life and have been practiced for a lifetime. So some of these are very deeply ingrained in us. But one of the exercises that I like to do myself, and an exercise that I like for certain of my clients to do, and this is what this guy has been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Ask him in session to talk about some of his good, positive points, some of his strengths. And he was able to do this. He was able very objectively to talk about he's an honest person, he's a hard-working person, he's a dependable person. He considers himself to be a good husband. He and his wife seem to have a very, very good relationship. So I was writing these things down, asked him to jot these things down. He went home and he shared his list with his wife. And then she came up with a list that she considered to be his strengths. And not surprisingly, it was very, very similar to his. And so what I've asked him to do is to write down those things and to make a copy, a 4x6 card, and to put it on his bathroom mirror. Put it someplace where he'll see it every day. It's not stuff that he's making up about himself. It's stuff that is true about himself. It's not what he wants to be. It's what he is right now. So it's not some of this empty self-talk where he's trying to be his own cheerleader, but it's just a reminder. And I want it to be a daily reminder of what he already knows about himself. I want him to carry a copy of that in his pocket, not to pull it out and read it, but when he sticks his hand in his pocket for money or for keys, that he can feel that card there. And it's a reminder. All I want him to do is to level the playing field a little bit, because it's been so much in a negative direction most of his life. The confident belief when we talk about self-motivation is that this situation, whatever the situation is, it can be changed. That I am not powerless over this situation. I'm not going to have time to go into much about learned helplessness, but you're familiar with that term, and the researcher Martin Seligman has done years and years of research on depression. What he has learned as a part of that research is that we learn in a variety of ways, and we tell ourselves that we are powerless or that we are helpless in this particular situation. One of the books that he has written is called Learned Optimism, because the theory is if we learn helplessness, then we can also learn how to be optimistic, even though that may not have been a part of our growing up years and what we learned there. Thank you for joining us. I hope that was a useful and informative and a practical clip. I'm Dr. Harold Duncan. Our websites are PrestonPlaceCounseling.com and HaroldDuncan.com. Thank you for joining us for this clip, and hope that you enjoy the next in the series.